Let's look at verse 22. So Paul stood in the midst of the Areopagus and said, Men of Athens, I observe that you are very religious in all respects. Okay, notice what he did. Now, they would think religion is good. It's not really a compliment, but that's how they would receive it, isn't it? Always complimenting.
Reaching out to them.
Yeah.
Because that's their level.
That's their level. And that's exactly what Paul is doing here, this whole period here that we're going to read about tonight. He's building a bridge, and that's what we can do, all right? It's nice for us to read about what Paul did with the Athenians, but we run into Athenians and Stoics and atheists, and we run into them every day. So as we read this, let's keep that in mind. Paul made a connection. He built a bridge. For a while, I was passing through and examining the objects of your worship. All right, we're going to stop right there again. So here he is. He's walking through Athens, trying to figure out who these people are. And do you ever do that? When you go into someone's home, don't you love to just look at what they have all around their home? It tells you what? It tells you who they are. It tells you what they value. If you see pictures of family pictures on it, like mine, well, this, what? Oh, she has hope. What's that all about, I mean, hopefully someone could come into my house and figure out something. If you look back there, you can see I have children, and you don't have to look very far to find pictures of my grandchildren and the things that are important to me. You'll find Bibles laying around the house. Think about what's in your house. What's on your walls? And if someone walked into your home, and this is what Paul's doing, he's walking around their town, their city, their metropolis, trying to figure out what is important to these people. And so we can take a lesson from that as well. When I see someone with a tattoo, I'll say, tell me the significance of that tattoo. What does that dragon mean to you? I mean, people don't just have their bodies tattooed for no reason. It's whatever is put there is there for a reason.
They want to make a statement.
Yeah.
Honor someone.
So doesn't that help you to build a bridge? You know what's important. And then you can carry on the conversation from there. So continuing with verse 23, he says, I also found an altar with this inscription. What did the inscription say? To an unknown God. Therefore, what you worship, it's like unknown. What? They're ignorant. This is what he says. This what you worship. What you're worshiping? You're worshiping in ignorance. And this I proclaim to you. All right, you are worshiping in ignorance. You don't know who you're worshiping. This unknown God. Do we have any unknown gods? Here in our, what do we call our unknown God? It's a common name. You all hear it. They use it a lot in Alcoholics Anonymous.
Higher power.
A higher power. They all, well, who's your higher power? Well, some people have Jesus as their higher power. But if it's not Jesus, well, whoever your higher power is. I'm really glad you brought that up, because we do have idols. And just because we don't have little golden figures standing up all over the place. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
Right?
Yes, that's right. We like our toys. When I teach the word, and we have Bible studies, things usually don't go south, but I'll tell you what, when we talk about idols, I catch it. I catch it really bad. People get mad at me. That's something they hold precious. And don't you call that an idol? I'm going, it's not me. I'm just the messenger. It can be our home. It can be our boat. It can be What?
Leaders of the church. or
Leaders of
whatever.
the church, yeah, and they fall. What else?
Talents.
Our talents, anything. We look at Athens and we think, oh man, they were really bad. They had all those idols. We're no different.
They just had statues.
Yeah, yeah, no.
We cover ours up.
Right. Yes. TVs, even reading. You know, some people read to escape. I mean, good things. They're good things. Children, our children, they can be our idols because, yeah, we're supposed to love our kids, but they have their place. All right. They have their place, and their place is not over and above, and they're not above God Himself. He's trying to tell them the God I'm talking about is the one who made the world. These little statues did not make the world. I'm talking about the God who made the world and all the things in it, including you, since He is Lord of heaven and earth. Listen to this next part, ladies. Does not dwell in temples made with hands. Please underline that, because we live in a community where people believe that He dwells in a temple made with hands.
There's a lot of them that believe, don't there?
So just remember that verse. Write it down, memorize it if you have to. Verse 25 says, nor is He served by human hands. We don't serve Him with our hands. We don't feed this God. We don't clothe this God. We don't shelter this God. He doesn't, it says, as though He needed anything, because He doesn't need anything. Since He Himself gives to all people life and breath and all things. He gives us. He takes care of us. We don't take care of Him. And every good and perfect gift is from above. It says in James 1:17. Every good and perfect gift is from above. Every good and perfect gift. That means every breath we take is a gift, ladies. It's a gift, and it comes from God.
Not just for
It's from Him. It doesn't matter whether they realize it or not.